Welcome to Intro2Astro 2024.
And moving on to Git. So I'll first start with what Git is. Git is basically a version control system. That means, like, let's say that you're working on a project. I'm working on a project and I need to save versions of it as I work on it. So let's say I worked a particular amount on it and I saved version 1. Then I made a significant development that created some of my plots. I make a version 2. Then I go forward, I like put those plots in a particular format and then finalize a lot of things in my project. That makes a version 3. So I want all these versions to be tracked so that I can refer to any one of them at any time, and there is no hassle as such. I have like some particular messages that I wrote, like this version means that I have done this part, version means that I have done this part, and I can always roll back to one of them. So this is what Git does. It's kind of a version control system that controls the versions of your files and your folders in a project, and it maintains this history of all these versions so that you can roll back to any one of them and refer to any one of them. So this is what a Git is. And a Git repository is this project that I'm talking about. So it's a folder with a .git subfolder. It's kind of a collection of codes and other files which is kept track of in a particular format. All right. Um, so this is for installation of Git. It's by default installed in a Mac and it's also by default installed in a Linux. For Windows, you can download it from here. So you have the link in these slides, and you can follow the instructions simply, and you'll get a terminal similar to this for Git. For Mac, it's already present. So let me show you what Git is. I'll just go into Intro to Astro 24. So I am currently in my Intro to Astro folder. And before I start with going into the commands, I'll just show you what this means is. So I just talked about Git, but there is also a thing called as GitHub. And how are these two different? So Git is something that is present on your local machine. You have a particular project that you are working on, you make those versions and you control it over your particular local machine. When we want to talk about collaboration with other people, and when we want to talk about uploading to a website and then keeping track of everything by multiple people and not just yourself, we are talking about GitHub. So it's a collaborative system where Git is employed. All right, so over here, this is GitHub. We have a folder which is Intro to Astro. You can see this is the folder. This is called a Git repository. So this is my project that I am working on. In this particular project or in this particular repository, I have some set of folders and I have some set of files. And like I said, we have some set of codes. So if I were to go into this folder, there are some set of codes that I have written. And over here, you can see last commit date. So all these commits are the versions that we were just talking about. So these are the versions that I committed. Like if I made a change like yesterday, it's written yesterday. If I made a change 3 hours ago, it's written as 3 hours ago. And what I made the change was, so I wrote here a message that I added week 1 tutorials. And last year I made some change, like this remains unchanged. So this was from last year and it says that initial updates. So depends on what you are doing and what version you are on, and you can write a message and the time, and this is stored as a new version of this repository. So this is what GitHub is, and when we talk about Git, it's the same thing, but it's on your local machine. So how to connect between this local machine and GitHub? Do we need to download everything from here and work on this particular interface? The answer is no. You can definitely do this. You can go through here. You can run these commands, but it's easier to like work the other way around, which is to use this local machine to connect to GitHub. So what we all need to do is, and this is something that you all need to do, is create a folder on your computer, and you'll need to get this repository into your local machine so that you can work on these tutorials. So first of all, there is this green button that has code written over it. You need to copy this to your clipboard. This is the URL or the GitHub link for this. All right, and you can like go into that folder, and then you need to git clone it. So I'll make a new folder for now. Give me a second. Yep, I need to make it. So I made a new folder which was GitHub tutorial. I want to go into this folder. You can also do this like through your file manager. Alright, so if I were to show where I am in this GitHub tutorial folder. Now I need to download everything from GitHub to my local computer. So what I'll do is I'll write this command which is git clone. It clones the whole repository into your local system and then write the URL that I just copied from GitHub. And it is saying that it is cloning this whole repository into my own laptop, and it's downloading everything that is present over there. So let's give it a second till it downloads. Yep, it has downloaded. So now I can move into this folder, Intro2Astro 2024, which I just downloaded. And you can see I have downloaded this, indeed downloaded this repository. I just clear the screen. Yep. So what is there in this folder? Let's list the commands. Let's list the contents of this folder. And you can see I have every like file and folder that were present in the GitHub repository. I want to like make sure that I am updated so that in week 2, whenever there are updates that are made by mentors and the instructors, I want to have the latest changes. So to pull the latest changes from this repository the next time I'm using it, it is advisable to always use this git pull command. What this does is it fetches the latest changes from GitHub to your local machine every time before you start working on it. So that if there is any change that someone is doing, you can always see it. So if I were to git pull, it will currently say that it is currently already up to date because we just cloned it. But yeah, in case there is any change, you'll get those changes downloaded as well. So this is git pull. And let's say I want to work on a file. So I'll move into CD week 1 folder. All right. I'll just make a file, and the command to do that is touch, and I'll write that name GitHub example.txt. So this will create a blank file, and let's see if it is. So it is there. I'll do lsl, and I can see this GitHub example.txt file over here, right? So I have added a new file which is blank for now, and it is fine that it is blank. Now I want to upload this to my GitHub page, right? And how to do that, right? So what I can do is I can, I can check if this is added in my Git. So first of all, I write this command git add, and then add this file GitHub example. Give me a second. So what this does is it adds this file into the files that I'm tracking to use in this folder. So git add is the command that you track your files with. Once I have added it, I want to make this a version. So I'll write git commit. This is another command. So as you just saw on GitHub, like these are all entered as commits. Right. So last commit date, these are all versions that we were just talking about. So any change that I'm making, I'm committing that change to GitHub or Git. And I write this as git commit. And then I can add a message on what this means. So added an example file so that I can refer to it in the next time. And this will add one file. So it says that one file has changed, and it created these insertions since there was no line, so it says zero insertion, but there was one file that was changed. And you can see in, so there is another command that you'll need to use, which is git status. This tells you all the things that are going on in your current git repository. So there is nothing to comment, there was no change, like we have already committed all the changes, then it says nothing to commit. If not, it would say that there is one file that is untracked, or there is one file that needs commit, and that is something that you can check one by one when you are going through this. So these are some basic commands that you'll need to use with Git, and this is the GitHub folder that you'll need to refer week by week. There will be tutorials that are here that you'll need to refer to, as well as there will be keys that will be published like a week later. So there are, like, for the assignment that I have for Unix and Git, I'll publish a key for the next week so that you can refer to it once you work on it on your own, and wherever you get stuck, you can take help from it.
Register now on bit.ly/intro2astro 2024.